like, ooh, I was thinking about, hey, it's the end of the month, beginning of a new month. It's May 1st, what I'm calling and claiming Miracle May. We're doing mindset and miracles this month. I just thought, oh, because you know me, it's like I like to be here the end or beginning of every month and more than that too. But it's just a joy to be with you. So hi.
Thank you. So what's on your mind these days? What's new?
My goodness. What's on my mind? There's a lot of things that are living in that attic, in that space. But no, there's just, I think, I don't know if the rest of you feel this way too, but for me, New Year's truly feels like it starts happening around the end of March, into April. And it's like the waking up of the earth. And there are people that, it's like, hey, that the Gregorian calendar and how we change things, that the natural rhythm is the new year is in springtime. And there is just such an energy about that. Can you guys feel that too? And whether you absolutely, I love New Year's. It can be new creation at any time we choose that, because that's the power of our who we are as humans. You're powerful, powerful creators, every single one of you. We sometimes forget we're powerful creators, don't we? Right? That's the thing is we forget the truth, but to come home to that. But for me, I'm just loving the energy of this new season. And, yesterday my mom and I, we were putting beautiful, flowers and plants in these pots that I have and spending time outside and just like, oh, just been in the vibe of that. So,
Fills the cup, doesn't it?
yeah, so that's for me is definitely thinking about new and new creation and new energy and just like, oh, the vibration of that. And so, yeah, that's one of the things that I've been thinking about. How about for you? What's new with you guys?
Well, we just hosted the Essential Emotions Coaches Retreat last week.
I saw images of that and it looked incredible. Tell us
It
more about
was
this.
oh, it was so healing. I was just kind of in the background because it's Natalie and Amanda and Cherie and Robin leading out and Joe. And they just do such an incredible job of just holding space. It really is just this amazing energy that they create and invite healing and breakthrough. So
Mm.
Joe brings the embodiment, and so a lot of somatic uh, healing going on with her work. But yeah, there's just so many modalities. Ruth here is she was here with us, and she was just speaking to how grateful she was for it. So
Mm. I
lots
love
of
it. And it's so good. Hi, Ruth. Nice to see you too. Um, I mean, there's something about, so you mean there's like a component of emotions with essential oils and with different tools? Wait a minute. I love that. So I'll tell you, I set these out intentionally. I was reading something, a blog or something online about how when you're sincere about you really want to see some spring cleaning and spring cleaning energetically as much as physically, pull out your lemongrass. So it's like we've got lemongrass oil that's going in the diffuser here today, and then topped with a little of this baby. I'm a big fan of her always. Geranium. Anyone else love geranium? The other oil I've been utilizing a lot more so in the last, I'd say, several weeks is the oil of bergamot as
Mhm.
well. And so I've been putting a little geranium on my heart, a little bergamot on my solar plexus, and just the beauty of that. Now, Becky, hear me out because Becky's like, she's not the biggest fan of geranium. I know it's strong. Here's my original blend. So there are people that would email me about that. Like, what were you diffusing in your training room or what was in your roller bottle? And I love putting citrus bliss or wild orange or the oil I've fallen madly in love with that's in my little pebble diffuser is tangerine. If you are already a citrus lover, citrus bliss, wild orange, put tangerine in your cart for your month of May order because it's got this added like zest. But anyway, combine an orange with the geranium, of course, heavy on the orange, light on the geranium, and diffuse that because geranium is such a heart healer, right? It's so powerful for that. And there's such a love. Of course, you can always put rose in there and rose touch, but I feel like geranium gives you a very similar makeup in terms of the emotional support of that. So for heart healing, for, for clearing of that and so forth. But bergamot is a lot about, I believe, of course, right? It's the energy or the intention around self-acceptance. And so a lot of bergamot, diffuse it or put it on your body, these kinds of things. Anyway, you guys are the experts. I just feel like I'm chiming in with like the cool kids here,
No,
sharing the
it's
things
true.
that I'm like, I've been diffusing a lot of green mandarin with a little lemon and a little wild orange, as well as now, the geranium with that. So I'm just playing over here, putting our
So
stars on
fun.
the energetics and the clearing and the cleansing and the like, okay, let's make room for and let release the old and let make room for the new.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
One, so Natalie is heading to Europe next week for European convention, then they're doing a whole tour all around Europe. I think it's 6 stops across Europe. Um, and so we're working on some of the print materials for that. And as we're doing that, we found this quote that I just want to share with y'all. It says, "Plants are the wisdom keepers of the earth.
Mm.
They are here to help us remember who we are." And I just wanted to share that because I love that idea, this symbiotic relationship we have with nature, and that there's this wisdom deep in the plant's, I don't know, DNA that we can access. And so that's what the Essential Motions Project is all about, accessing that
Mhm.
wisdom. So
Mhm.
somebody's asking me to show it one more time. Here it is.
It's so very true. There was a book that I read years ago, and I don't know if I'm going to get the title exactly right. I'd have to look that up, but it was like The Hidden Life of Trees or something.
Hmm.
And I'm going to look that up for just a specificness, but something of that nature, but just how in community trees are and
Peter
how alive.
Wohlleben.
Who?
Peter Wohlleben, does that sound right?
I think so. Yes.
Wow, it looks amazing.
So it's just have like how communicative trees are, and therefore, of course, plants. I mean, they're alive. We know this like on some level, but like these plants and medicine, and I just think it's so beautiful to be more tuned into that, right? Of like the smarts, the intelligence of our plants and our trees and our systems, right, that are part of that. So anyway, how beautiful. And I love she's going to go hang out in Europe. She'll have to have a gelato or two for me in
I
that
know, right?
space. I mean, come on. And some bread and pastries. What I love that we're seeing in the United States and hopefully more of it sooner, faster is, the raising of the bar of what's allowed in our food. And I love how in Europe, they have such higher food standards.
Mm.
And so like many of my friends who here in the United States cannot eat bread because what's in it is glyphosate. And they're not allergic to bread though in Europe. They can eat plenty of breads and pastas there. And so I just remember around this time a year ago, Brett and I went to Germany for a couple of weeks. He had a disc replacement in his back, and we were over there for a few weeks. And it was like you guys ate plenty of breads and treats and things and came home like a few pounds lighter than when I went. And I was like, how is that possible? We've been eating all these, breads and things and treats, but I'm excited for her to be over there. And I'm excited to see hopefully more and more legislation and things be passed about what is allowed in our foods. Not that that's the point of what we're talking about, but coming back closer to nature of the natural, right? Like even look at these trees behind you that are just like, hi, everyone.
Yep.
That are like, hey, they're just got this vibrancy. And I love what you guys are about in doTERRA because when I think about any bottle of oil, right, whatever the scent is or the flavor, it's literally like you're capturing light and goodness in a bottle. And you guys are light workers, literally. You are about the business of light. You're in the business of purpose, in the business of a mission that helps empower and inspire people. And I know we sometimes forget that when we get lost in, making sales and enrollments and communication dynamics and working with people and all of the things, but it's like it's important. And that's why I always love to join you somewhere around the end of the month, first of a month, to bring you home to intention around creation. You are powerful creators and you are all on truly. And I'm not just saying that to make you feel good or some hype talk, but you really are on a powerful mission in doTERRA. And the work that you're up to in the world, it matters, right? And so it's like, oh, let's capture a little bit of nature and light and empowerment and goodness and purity, right? To be able to stand behind your products, knowing that the quality of what you're about, it just is so important. So anyway, it's such a joy to be with you guys. And it's April the 30th. Can you believe that? It's
I
like,
know,
my goodness, here we are. It's May 1st
wild.
tomorrow. Here we go.
So fun. Oh, so good. I posted a couple links while Tiff was sharing. The first one is the link to the Hidden Trees book, A Hidden Life of Trees, which I'm really excited to read. And then if you want to like see some of the recap of the Essential Emotions events and the coaching retreat we just held, give us a follow over there on the gram. And then we also have a calendar of events at essentialemotions.com/events. So give those a follow and let's stay in touch because there's a lot of healing to do in the world. And so we're just trying to help people claim more.
I love it. Love it, love it. So what's new and good, friends, right? That's a question I like to ask my own coaching cohort is like, or clients or friends, is like, tell me the good news. Tell me what's something that's new and good. Can we reflect a little bit on April together? If you would, grab something handy to write with, take notes with, log off any other potential distractions. I know Andy just guided you to Instagram and following their account. Yes, please do that. But in terms of like, come back into this presence in this space, but I invite you just to drop in and to think about what are some of your wins, victories, gratitudes for the month of April, right? Maybe some of you, like Ruth and Andy was talking about, you were at the Essential Emotions Retreat, or perhaps you've been expanding in your knowledge or utilizing your products on a regular basis or sharing them, your own wellness and self-care, or maybe there's books or podcasts you've read or listened to, or sales and enrollments for this month. I would love for you to ponder upon that. But what are some of my wins and my victories? Again, the power of our brain is your brain is not wired to appreciate. That is not how your neuronet is built. Your neuronet, literally like your reptilian brain, is to keep you alive, is to keep you safe, and therefore is regularly, what I like to say, sometimes the watchman on the tower, right? It's just like regularly scanning for threats, regularly looking at what's missing or lack or threats. You're regularly in problem solving mode is the point. That is the nature of who you are physicality wise. And we're grateful for the nature of who we are. Like, what an opportunity. We woke up today. We're in this incredible body. And the miracle of being in a human body is so incredible, is literally, it's like amazing. It's miraculous. And we train our brain to come into alignment with, I believe, our spirit to appreciate, to focus on gratitude and thanksgiving. How often does scripture or spiritual text talk about gratitude and thankfulness? And so we train our brain to pause for a moment and let's focus on what's new and good. What are you grateful for? What are your wins and your progress? I think this really, really matters, right? Yeah, it's just touche upon myself of putting my brain in that space. So write this down and share it with us in the chat box. And even though if you may not be, quote, where you want to be, because how many of you, that's the easier thing is what's something that you desire, something you want. And a lot of times our frustration in life is time, is we're not where we want to be as fast as we want to be there, right? Whether it's with our business, with our health and wellness, or our fitness goals, our home progress, relationships, parenting, you name it. There's a lot of times our frustration is in the gap of timing, but it's this awareness of I am progressing. So let's acknowledge the progress, right? And so it's just what's some of the things you've progressed in the month of April. Even if you're like, I'm moving slow as mud, Tiff, I'm in the molasses. This is not, but it's like, yeah, no, let's acknowledge the progress because you're moving in the direction. Let's read some of these. Reprioritizing sleep. I love that. A friend I've been talking to about oils for 2 years. That's 24 months. Stephanie saying just signed up on Friday. Is that not amazing? Right? Like that's what that's about. It's like, hey, I'm just going to keep showing up and sharing the good news, right? Sharing the insight, sharing the invitation. There you go. I love it. Inspiration of momentum on how to lead and multiply your business. So much good in your life. I love that. Live a Cause boot camp in Germany, meeting Kurt Jowers, being one of the top enrolled in the DAC area. I love this. 4 new wellness advocates. Congratulations. Consistency. Grateful for the people in your life. Staying committed to the goals, even when the timing and plans are slower than I thought. Yes. Can I read you something that I just loved? I saw this quote earlier this week, and it says this. It says, the courage to start is the first step. This is worth writing down. The courage to start is the first step. The courage to keep going is where the magic happens. Isn't that so true? Right? Because it does require some courage, some oomph, and a decision to get started on anything. The courage to start is the first step. The courage to keep going is where the magic happens. Gosh, that's so good. And so, yes, I love when Becky, you're saying that, it's like timing and plans are slower than I thought or what I wanted, but there is progress that's happening. Just like if you're pregnant today, you might be pregnant today and you might be, 3 weeks pregnant, or you might be 8 months pregnant and but you're like, wait, there's some time, but you're pregnant, right? Those seeds are the seeds you're going to plant or have planted in your literal garden or symbolic garden. It's like, oh, I've planted those seeds. There's progression, but I still have time. I still might have 6 months. I might have 2 years. I might have 3 weeks, right? The power of sometimes time. And that's where the activity of faith comes in, right? Faith and belief is like, ooh, this timepiece that's part of it. Anyway, those are just some thoughts. Andy, anything you want to add to that or any other thoughts you're thinking about or that are up for you or in community?
No, we've seen that play out just over and over again. Those who, um, it's easy to start a project, right? But resistance is real. The weeds keep coming back.
Oh my goodness, do they
And,
ever?
and so the question remains, what's your relationship with it? How are you going to deal with, the hard, the opposition,
Mm,
relationships that go south? Um, how do you fall in love with the process so you can keep moving forward and keep it neutral, right? Like not taking it personally.
mm-hmm.
Um, and that's the formula right there. Anyone who's
True.
done anything meaningful in business and in relationships, it's because they stuck with it. They got through the hard.
Mm-hmm. So can I ask you a specific question that I'd like for you to just elaborate on is well, first of all, is like how important is mindset in creating success in this business?
So we used to do a training um, about the system, right? Like how to just maximize efficiency in this business and just be um, positioned for maximum growth. And so the training was really geared towards the tools. But we always started that training with this statistic. We believe that 80% of success is mindset. And then, maybe 15% is skill set, and then 5% is the tool set. But we get so hyper focused on the tools, right? Which class do you teach? Which products do you focus on? What's the script that you use? But the fact is, like, none of that really matters if you have the right mindset. Matt Hall did a training for us last convention, and he said, keep your mind clean and keep your lips moving. And if you do that, you'll find success.
Mm-hmm.
So mindset is by far and away the most important part of success.
Mm-hmm. The most important part.
No close
And if I've learned this is like, even when you have, I've written many sales scripts over the years and done lots of sales training. And here's quote, the perfect, not perfect, but here's your template. Here's your questions. Here's how you engage people and get them to process emotionally and logically and to enroll. And there is a science to that. But I've found that if someone's mindset is in the weeds, right? Or in the negative Nellies, so to speak, the best tools in the world become pretty irrelevant, right? Like you're saying, tools and systems, they're valuable, but the most important piece is mindset. So here's a question that I have for you is what are some of your go-tos that help nourish your mind, your mindset, your vision, or to keep you in the space of possibility
second.
versus fear, frustration, shutdown?
That's a great question. I mean, the obvious things are, whatever we put in the brain is that becomes the programming, right? And so garbage in, garbage out. Are we feeding our mind light? Are we feeding it truth, possibility? So, the books we read, the audios we listen to, the podcasts we tune into, um, really those become the people we surround ourselves with. Um, and the same thing is true of our social life. Like if we create circles of naysayers and gossipers, then that's the upper limit of possibility that we create. So it's funny. We've actually, Natalie and I were joking about this. We had um, we were just talking about partnerships and employees and some of the struggles. And I said to Natalie, the problem we have is that we literally believe in and expect miracles. And anybody who falls short of expecting miracles, we just can't work together. And so we've probably let more employees go because they had a limitation on their scope of possibility. They had an upper limit and they weren't willing to push through it. And they weren't willing to see a bigger vision or just a greater realm of what's possible. So pretty cool awareness for us. Like that might be the first question we ask next time we interview someone is, do you believe in, expect, and regularly create miracles?
Mm. And you know what I love about the question is that even if that's not what's familiar to them or present to them, you're opening the door of possibility and consideration because living in a miracle type mindset and expectation of miracles, and of course it's a combination between mindset and spiritual roots, right? Because that's where we're playing is it's not either or, but it's like, I love you asking that question because even if that's not where they're at and they may not be, a top business partner for you, you're planting that seed of like, oh, wow, wow, I've never even thought about that. And I think that's a great place for each one of us to check into as well, is how regularly in the last 24 hours, let alone the last 7 to 14 days, has my own mind and spirit been in the space of miracles and possibility? And am I nourishing that? And I do think that's one of the key things I think we want to touch into is that this is something that we nourish. It isn't something you just have or don't have. It's something that's why I'm asking of Andy and the rest of you to consider what helps nourish your miracle mindset, what helps nourish your faith, your belief, what helps you stay into that vibration and that possibility zone versus, oh, I've wandered into, again, more of the dark alley, so to speak, and we all do that. It's just more so what are your practices and anchor habits? I love Jeff was talking about habits in the chat box, but the potency of that, or what are your habits that help bring you back into that possibility? And how we go, oh, what helps us do that? So, can I share something that's coming up next week?
Yeah, please.
So, I've been hosting a course for over 10 years called Mindset Makeover. Some of you may have participated this in the past. And I love to claim that May is Miracle May, and it's the month for mindset and miracles. And we're doing this very thing. So this kicks off next week. It's Monday through Thursday, and it's all recorded. You own the recordings. And what I love we do about this, we tried this during 2020 when the pandemic was in uproar and there was all this uncertainty, is we switched our model from paying, you had, what the set price point was, to a pay what you choose model. Is you get to pick your own price point, which is kind of fun, right? Now, one of the price points includes having a live Q&A session each day as well. So 4 live coaching sessions. However, there's multiple price points that you can choose, but this is exactly what we're doing. Is we don't just stumble into, just like we wouldn't stumble into being super fit. Like you have to be very intentional about that, or very organized. It's the same thing as a mindset is intentionally cultivated and developed. And we talk about mindset and manifesting, marketing, and your money mindset. And that's coming up next week. You register for that, or for more details is mymindsetmakeover.com. But can I show you just a little marketing backdrop on that? I'm going to pull
Neat.
this up because I think this is kind of fun. So if you can see this on the screen, this is today's marketing, but I want to show you something else. But again, you can see the website down at the bottom there, mymindsetmakeover.com. But let me share this with you. Well, am I on that screen? Okay, one second. Here we go. Let's show you the comparisons of how things have evolved. Okay, let me come back. There we go. Look at this. Look at the change of that. So this is
2016, baby.
2016, almost 10 years ago. The colors of that and the shift and the change. So again, we've been teaching this for a while, but do you see a little difference, right? It's their evolution.
I think Tiffany found herself a designer.
Yeah, I think we found, well, the same designer did both of these is the
Oh,
fun.
really?
It's
Oh
just
my gosh.
he was following my lead of what it is that we used to be more about. Let's do some hot pink and green. You guys look at that. There was another iteration of this in between that was my blush pink and gold, right? Because blush pink and gold was everything for quite some time in all my
Oh my
branding. So
gosh.
look at how things have shifted and changed. Isn't that fun? But this
Oh,
is,
that's
of course,
hilarious.
I'm super passionate about, because like Andy was saying, it's just like, oh my goodness, mindset really is everything.
Yeah.
Your operating system, it's running the show, it's the lens that you're seeing life through. It's kind of like I'm having this experience right now. We're researching um, selling my current vehicle and getting into a new vehicle. And now we've been looking at them online, and we've, been perusing all of that. So guess what I'm now seeing on the road all the time? That vehicle that we're looking at, the make and model of that. And it's like, isn't that interesting? Is it was already always there. What's different though is what I'm feeding my mind. And now I see it. And that works just as true for the positive as the negative in our life. Here's a little mindset tip, something I saw this quote going around social media recently, and I started this. You know how, at least in iPhone, you have a notes app, right? I'm sure Samsung has something very similar, but you have a notes app. Well, I've started a note based off seeing this post on social a few times that's titled, Good Things Are Always Happening to Me.
Mhm.
And I invite you guys to do the same thing. All it is a mindset game, right? Where your mind, just like I'm looking and seeing now this vehicle on the road all the time, it was already there. I'm now plugging that into what I'm focused on, right? Because what we focus on expands. But how to cultivate that mindset and how to feed your brain the positive and how to put yourself in that alignment. So that's been a fun thing too. I've been practicing, but I'm excited for that. That's something that as we come into May, Miracle May, it's mindset and miracles. We kick off next week if that's something you guys want to join me in. Again, mymindsetmakeover.com, and it's a pay what you choose, right? You get to decide. So that's kind of a thing that's coming up as well. But I just like to remind myself of that all the time because it's something we're practicing, right? It's not
Yeah.
about perfecting it, but we're practicing it.
Well, thank you so much for just always pouring into us and serving in such a big way. I love this mindset makeover I love your commitment to helping us scrub our minds. Um, Matt Hall even made the claim, he's like, we're constantly being brainwashed.
Mm.
Like if you're not choosing to wash your own brain, somebody else is. So get intentional and get a program together. And so thank you for showing up in that space in such a big way.
Mm. That's so true. That's such a powerful thing. And like, as you're saying that, my own mind's like, wow, isn't that so true? Is you get to then choose, like, what am I going to feed my brain or what am I going to choose that to be?
So good. Awesome. Well, we should open it up to questions. I saw a comment by Jeff earlier. So go ahead and raise your hand if you'd like to come on live. But I saw a comment from Jeff. He said, I believe in miracles, just short on manifesting them. So I would invite you and each of you to try reframing that. What's a way that you could make an affirmation? You know, some of you have heard of affirmations. Affirmations is when you put it in the form of a question. So, why am I so good at manifesting miracles?
Mm.
Why am I always in the path of miracles? Um, and then truly sit in that question. Um, so go ahead and put in the chat, what are some other ways that you could reframe that belief or that statement of belief? I believe miracles are short of manifest them. So go ahead and put in the chat. This is a fun little exercise for all of us, right? Because weeds are going to keep showing up. And what are we going to do with them? Are we going to get mad? Are we going to yell at the weeds? Or are we just going to do a reframe? So go ahead and put in the chat. What's some other ways to think of that?
Mhm.
All right, we've got Jacqueline raising her hand. Did you want to say something, Tiff?
I just was saying, yeah, it's like Jeff saying miracles are always happening for me. I know one of our favorite affirmations between you and I and Natalie, and the rest of you are welcome to adopt this, is I am perfectly supported.
Mhm.
I also love the phrase, the statement, things are always working out for me, right? I may not always understand them, or it may not be on the time frame or in the form, but having that chosen belief, which again, coming back to you get to choose your beliefs. And it's like, even though I can't prove that, things, like with a graph and a chart and data, things are always working out for me. I
Yeah.
am perfectly supported. It's like, wow, yeah, choosing into that or even the concept with time. Everything is right on time.
Mhm.
I love what's showing up today. I'm excited to see the miracles of today. Excited again to see that good things are always happening for me. That's what part of that note and that seeking. But anyone else, what are some affirmations or things you might like or you already currently use? If you have some that you want to share, we'd love to hear them and just brainstorming together. The power of that.
And Jacqueline, I see that you joined us, so we'd love to support you if you
Thank
want
you.
to. Good. Hi, friend.
I made a comment. Hi. I made a comment in the comment section, but I just wanted to share, and I'll try not to be emotional because I'm going on 2.5 hours of sleep after returning from Rome and pulling an all nighter Sunday night. I have a federal lobbying firm, and so I do that along with doing doTERRA as a business. I love doTERRA. I would love to do that just as my full-time job, but my lobbying job brings in some pretty darn good money and it's kind of a fun thing, but I really do have more of a passion for doTERRA than my lobbying firm. But I also was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2017. Sorry, after I got over Crohn's disease after being in the hospital for 6 days in 2016. And I did that totally naturally. The Parkinson's has kicked my butt a little bit. But just talking about miracles and reframing things, I was looking at the townhouse I'm moving into that's double my mortgage. That I still have my house, and I'm moving in there tomorrow because my sisters Melody and Stephanie and Cricket, my sister-in-law, have encouraged me to live close to the beach for my healing. I bought a boat last year, but that didn't quite do it. So anyway, I was talking to my assistant who coaching to get in the business. And I said to him, you know, we were just talking, I said, we've got to really build this business for you, blah, blah, blah. Instead of, you know, pursuing other pursuits. And and then I said, you know, maybe the challenges I've been having with my clients and just the last week when I was in Rome, is telling me I should just quit the lobbying and turn 100% to doTERRA. Well, I went to sleep at 12:30 last night, and and I woke up with this inspiration coming to my mind, and I love the fact that I didn't even speak the prayer. I didn't even, I guess, know what to ask, you know, but I've been trying to do this on my own and without any mentors helping me with my lobbying firm, but it just came to me. Everything came to me last night. So I'm not going to kiss the lobbying goodbye yet, but I just want to share that. And I put in my thing, hashtag Heavenly Father answers even our unspoken prayers. So, and yeah, I just want to tell you how much we appreciate you and your beautiful wife. People don't know this about you, but I've never forgotten it. I had a boyfriend years ago from Australia, and that's how I met Andy. I wasn't doing the business or anything. I met him through Lassen, and Andy literally spent like an hour and a half on the phone with me talking about my relationship and giving me helps. And I just love you for that, and I love you. And Natalie, you're just awesome.
Well, we love you, sister, and we are cheering for you. And I love how you're claiming all the healing that nature has in store for you. You've been claiming it from the medicine plants, right? The
Yeah,
plant-based medicine, and now you're going to claim it from the beach. That's
I
so
am.
inspiring.
Thank you.
Love you, sister.
Yeah, we just are sending you so much love and prayer, and even I don't know if you can see this chat box, but other folks sending that love to you. And
Thank you.
yeah, just what a woman, what a vibrant, bright light you are, and the courage that you're navigating. And yes, just a hearty amen. Isn't Andy and Natalie the best?
They're amazing. I mean, doing everything for free.
Yes.
That is what touches me too. You know, is they invest so much time and money and effort, and we appreciate you too, Tiffany. But it's just a beautiful family. I
know. I love them, but I love she tucked in there that Andy was, you know, the sounding board and listening ear for a dating situation.
Yeah.
You know, he's done that. He did that for me in some of my single time, him and Natalie, and they would hear about and and meet different people. We'd bring different people, you know, on dates, and they help, you know, kind of screen this. I mean, you guys could do a side business, Andy, with like,
well,
you know, dating.
You know how much free advice is worth, right?
Oh no, it's been so good, but the Goddards really are just so incredible on every level. So thanks, Steph, for saying hi.
Thanks.
Anyone else have something you'd like support with today? We'd love to support you. If you want to raise your
Okay, it looks like I just switched Tiffany to attendee, so let me fix that. Sorry about that. Let's try that again.
Don't you worry, I'm right here. I don't know what happened, but it's okay.
I'm like, that's enough from you. We're putting you on.
Anyway, we've heard enough. You're out. Don't talk to us about, you know, you don't want to be praised. No, but what I was just saying, if you guys have a question, we'd love to support you today. We have the time and the space for that. So think about if there's a place where you're feeling like, gosh, here's where I'm stuck, or here's where I'd like to see myself or my business progress. Here's what's up for me. We'd love to support you guys. So who would like to share something? Please utilize us. We'd love to be utilized, right? Andy's gonna kick me back out.
You gotta be careful what you say, Tiff.
You're out.
And privileges here, so
you're on limited time.
Hi.
Hello, Sherry.
Am I on? Okay. Oh, maybe I won't be on with my face. Woo! Anyway.
Yeah, it's that gorgeous face. We want to see it.
You're great.
So you guys, this call has been so powerful for me, and I wanted to share two things. First of all, a lot of times when you say words, I put them on my fridge me see if I can turn this around and show this one. This is like make space for what really matters, right? You guys, that's going to be familiar to almost everybody on this call. Gratitude is the great
Aw.
multiplier. And then overcome my mindset. But you guys, like this one about making space for what really matters has been huge for me this year. Like, how many times in the day am I up against like some sort of a crossing in the road where I have to make a decision, and I just like that pops into my mind, and it's like, oh, that the decision is easy. What matters, right? And I just to like give this a moment, remember when Lindsay Norman talked about how the top priority for her is what's going to lead to enrollment, what's going to lead to enrollment, though that work. And like she was even talking about how like when she was working on her presentation for her doTERRA convention or leadership or whatever, but she put that on hold because somebody that she had been working with called, and like that actually happened to me like just this week. And so I just love the words and I love the things that you're saying. Like, and so I just wanted to show that that making space for what really matters is huge. And I'm going to share my word with you, Tiffany. You're going to love this. My word this year is nourish, right?
Perfect.
And so like in my statement with, nourish mind, body, and soul. So you guys are, this is just one little humble Pleasant Grove lady just impacting so much. But I'm getting on my soapbox and I'm telling everybody these words are a big deal. And I love the things that you're spreading here on this call. So thank you. I love it. And nourish is my word this year.
I love
And
it.
making space for what matters is my motto.
So powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
I love it. I remember once one of my mentors, can I just riff on that for a second? He said this in a training. This is 15, 20 years ago, a long time ago. But I remember he said something where he said, nothing is missing in your life. And we were all like, excuse me, wait, I can give you a list, bud. Here we go. And this is Jack Canfield. We were at his home in Santa Barbara, an intimate group of us. And he said, nothing is missing in your life. You simply must make room for it. And it was like, wait. And just he's talking and went on to teach that whether that's physically, right? Like, how do you feel when you've, decluttered or cleaned up a space, your kitchen, your pantry, your car, right? Like, oh, or your closet or your whatever, like the physical. We clean up a physical space and like clean it out or release it, cleanse it, make room for it. Again, power of cleansing, diffuse that lemongrass, supposedly, right? All kinds. You have eucalyptus. There's so many great nourishing blends that we can utilize to support us in that. But cleansing your physical space. He also talked about the power of cleansing your emotional space, right? And he gave this example back to dating, since Steph plugged us into that vibe. But he was talking about, he's like, for some of you, if you're still energetically holding on to the last relationship or the situation, and you might be saying, I'd really like to meet someone, I'd really like that, or I'd like to attract that into my life or have that experience, yet I'm either hanging out in what the kids are calling today a situationship, right? Like it's not the thing, or energetically or emotionally, we're still tangled there. And not about getting this quote perfect, but sometimes we need to cleanse, right? And utilize some of these blends for our emotional clearing too, forgiving other people, releasing, or we sometimes call that cord cutting, right? But the releasing of or the healing of some of those energetics as well. And so I loved when I just saw that Sherry had that is, make space for what matters. But sometimes again, it's like, when my mentor said that to me, I had a little resistance to it initially, just truth telling, right? Is nothing's missing in your life. You simply must make room for it. And it's like, is there space for energetically the things that I desire to call into or attract into my life? And I will invite you, if that's something that's up for you, that you've got a lot of physical clutter in your life, because the emotional stuff, right? We work through that too. is perhaps that's something you take on, that this May, part of claiming Miracle May, is you're going to cleanse. It's a spring cleaning vibe for you, right? Where, ooh, I'm going to let go of the old, or clean up a space, or beautify a space, or maybe that's, you know, from yard work to the pantry, you name it. Also emotionally or energetically. And part of this mindset work is that it's like, oh, I'm going to be intentional about the beliefs I'm cultivating. And I'm going to be intentional about the clearing and what I'm declaring. I love declaration, right? Declaring over my life. So anyway, thank you, Sherry, for showing us that. That was such a cool thing to see in your space.
So good. Paula, we've got you on live with us. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for all that you've shared today. I am so sharing this recording with my team because, oh my goodness, this is just exactly what we all need to hear, right? So in the last week, I've had an experience that I had not had before in the 9.5 years I've been with doTERRA. And I think Natalie calls this like a shift or something. And I physically felt it inside, which is like I've had other things before where I've had like ideas and motivation. Like I'm a very driven person, right? So like I get, and I'm an activator. So I get these ideas, I plan them out, and I'm going with it, right? But to physically feel it inside was quite a different experience for me. And so we were sitting at this event that we had at a gym, and it was me and one of my new wellness advocates that I'm training how to do events and that sort of thing. And we didn't have a lot of interaction at the gym. I think our tables, so we started talking about this, and we're like, we need to change up our table setup. We're going to do this, whatever later. And then she started having ideas, and I started having ideas, and we spent that 4 hours basically planning something else. And then, but one of her ideas is to create a collaborative social media page for our entire team to be able to go on and post different things. And we're calling it the Wellness Impact Movement. And I love this because just last week I was on the call with Matt Hall, and I'm like talking to the team members that want to go international, right? And so it's like it's all just growing and coming, and then I'm traveling in between 2 states, and we've got, like, I might have 3 days next month not planned with something, right? Because which is a beautiful thing right now with the growth in my business. And I'm almost 60 years old. So it's something that I feel blessed to have the health and the energy that I have to do this, but traveling a lot, training all the different people, doing all, supporting all my wellness advocates and whatever. But coming into this now and just what I think I'm needing the help with is in the back of my mind, not wanting them to quit later, for one thing, but I don't think a lot of them will, because I think a lot of them are just so grateful for what they have right now. But it's also just overwhelming to me right now, just like trying to juggle all the moving pieces, all the stuff, and keeping it flowing and keeping it going without overdoing, without doing too much for them, without enabling, which is something I'm having to break free of, because I have responsibility in my top 5. And so so I have a tendency to go, oh, you can't do that, no worries, I'll take that on for you. So I'm breaking away from that. And just multiplying, like I'm in this stage of multiplying and figuring out what that looks like and what that is like. So I know that I just laid a lot on you, because that's the way my brain is working right now. And I want to know how I can organize that and how I can support best so that it flows, and be able to set the example of that for my team, so that they don't come in and go, Paul, I don't want to do all that you're doing. You're doing way too much. You know what I mean?
So good.
I've
Yeah,
literally had a couple people tell me.
You've built yourself a beautiful problem, right?
Right.
You've filled your life with really, really good things, and it makes for a full calendar and full schedule.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
So your question then is, how do I prioritize? Is that the question? How do I do
Right.
things first?
Yeah. Prioritize, organize, like what are things that are okay to let go of? What are things that I do need to keep to take on for myself? And what are other things that I can be like, okay, you take care of that. Like I'm getting way better at whenever they have an issue with one of their customers' orders, they take care of that, right?
Good.
Not I step in and go to my account manager and we're gonna fix it, unless I have to,
Mhm.
but you know, have them do some of the legwork with that. But yeah, because I'm going into a season of growth and a season of a lot of people I'm working with, and which is a beautiful thing, you know, and they're all at different aspects of how they're approaching sharing doTERRA, but how to organize it all, how to keep
Mhm.
it so that I'm not getting burnout. You know, I want
Totally.
to not for sure.
Well, I'll just share a couple of quick thoughts, and then Tiffany is like the Jedi master of managing priorities and just putting, like, she's guided Natalie and myself through sessions where everything just got so clear so fast about what to keep and what to drop. So let me just share a quick thought, and then I'll let Tiffany share. So somebody mentioned earlier this quadrant that Lindsay taught in
Yeah.
leadership, and
Okay.
and she taught again on one of our success coaching calls. And basically, if you're going to have a growing, thriving doTERRA business, then you get to create a strategy in each of these four quadrants. How am I going to acquire and retain builders? And then what's the team strategy for acquiring and retaining customers? And the strategy, I love what Rod Richardson teaches. He says, my goal is to make myself irrelevant in my business as soon as possible. What he means by that is, does my business pass the bus test? If I get hit by a bus tomorrow, does my business die or does it continue to grow and thrive? So create a strategy and then work yourself out of a job, meaning make it duplicatable and empower your people as fast as you can so that you don't, you're not holding back the growth of your business. You can create momentum without killing yourself and run yourself into the ground. So those are my quick thoughts. Tiff, would love to hear how do you choose where to spend your life?
This is so good. And Paula, I just have to say, I'm so inspired by you. Like, you just are vibrant, and I love that. And it's like, my goodness, and your skin, you look incredible. And you're like, I'm almost 60. I was like, what? Whatever you're, keep it up, obviously, and the products and things that you're doing. So first and foremost, and then I mean, I think that I have to just put the plug in for, of course, like, what are your essentials for your own self-care and your own wellness? Because when things are full and busy and we're supporting multiple people, we're traveling a lot, like you said, between two states and all the things you're up to, is you have to become like literally just so clear about not 27 things, but a handful of what I'd call non-negotiables. And that's exactly what they are. They're not negotiable. They are absolutely essentials that go in the tank on a regular basis because everyone already knows, right? Like, how many of you already know that when you feel better, you show up better? Everyone's gonna say yes. That's what I call basic math. When I feel better, I show up better. Basic math, yes. All of you already know that when you do the things in your self-care world, your core four, your body, mind, heart, spirit, right? That's your core four, body, mind, heart, spirit. What are the things that, like to Sherry's point, her word nourish, what nourishes you, what fills your own cup? And even though you hear this content a lot, there's not a lack of this content out in the world. It's, have you decided and you've pulled it into a non-negotiable, like a personal constitution, which is, these are the core essentials that I've decided to do, and that are, again, they become non-negotiable for me. Because sometimes when things, again, get especially busy or more people need things from us, I need this, I need that, whether they're children or whether employees or team members or whatnot, if we don't have boundaries for ourselves, or again, just we protect, you've got to take care of the goose, right? The goose and the golden eggs, that old, teaching. And it's like, we want the golden eggs. You have to take care of the goose to produce the golden eggs, so to speak. And so I just get really clear about what are my essentials, what nourishes me. And even if it's like, hey, it's a 5-minute break in the middle of the day, and I'm going to set a reminder that I just catch my intentional breath to I'm prioritizing my sleep, I'm taking my supplementation, I'm moving my body regularly, my spirit is nourished with prayer or reading or meditation. And the power of you coming into a clarity and a decision, not just, oh yeah, that's a nice idea. And if I have time, because you will live scraps, what I call the leftover life or the leftovers. If you're not intentional and in choice about, no, this is these are non-negotiable, these certain habits or practices for my own wellness, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, it's really easy for other people's urgency, the bright, shiny objects, all of the stuff that encroaches without decision. And so how powerful that is I just get really decisive and intentional about, I'm going to be doing this 1, 2, or 3 key habits. Again, I don't want you to have 27 on the list, but just those few essentials that it's like, these are non-negotiable. They happen every day or they happen regularly for my body, mind, heart, and spirit to help you, have fuel in the tank. So all the things that are coming up in the next month, you go, oh, I can do that, versus our body feeling like they needs to create illness or sickness of something to help shut us down, to get us to rest. It's like, no, I don't need that to show up. I will intentionally rest, I will intentionally nourish, and I will do the things that help me. And that's not to say sometimes even when we're doing all the things, we're still in human bodies that can get colds and sicknesses and things, but they're more likely to show up when we're stressed and exhausted and we're not doing the things that nourish ourselves. So that's my plug of what, as you head into this season that you're part of, it's exciting, but make sure that you've decided, not just, oh, that's a good idea, but decisions and non-negotiables have been established for how you'll show up for you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Andy, thanks for the reminder of the quadrant, because that is definitely something I need to use for the team as well. So I will do the non-negotiables because May is quite the month for me and I don't want to burn out and end up sick. So, because I've got to be there. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I love it. Thank
Thank
you. So
Appreciate
good to
it.
see you and connect.
Thank you.
Oh, love reading the comments. Love the rich conversation. Yes. Really, let go and let grow. So good. Oh, wow. Any final thoughts, Tiff, before we wrap it today?
Oh, I just love being back and hanging out with you guys and spending time. And I think it's just, you are legit. We said this earlier on in the session. You guys are all very powerful creators. And sometimes though we forget that, or we're just so busy in the busyness versus intentionality. And I'm a big fan of taking a moment to pause, reflect on your April, take a moment to pause, plan with intention and decisions around your May of what are the habits, what are the choices, what do I want to see progress personally and professionally? How will I practice that? What will be the habits or the efforts, right? So it's not just, quote, wishful thinking, but it's intentional, decisive planning and creation, that you're in creation. You come home to your powerful creator energy where it's like, I'm going to intentionally create. And it won't go to plan. It won't ever go perfectly to plan. But without the planning and without the decisiveness or decision making, like I love Karina's talking about this in the chat box, the whole I decided that changed my life, right? Is moving like, oh, that's a nice, this is a choice, a decision, these are intentions. But I love to take a moment and pause, reflect, and plan every single month. And I invite you guys to do the same. And it's powerful. Karina's asking, when is your mindset makeover? It's next Monday. It kicks off Monday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. right? If you want to bring chips and guac to our first session, feel free to, but it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. And all of the details and sign up, again, it's a choose what you want to pay for it, is like mine, mymindsetmakeover.com. And the Zoom links and things will be sent to you as we go through that. But that's taking place next week. We'd love to have you there if it resonates and speaks to you.
So good. You
How about
guys,
for you, Andy? Any last final thoughts or words you want to add?
no, just so honored, honored that we all get to be stewards of these precious little gifts of the earth and all of the wisdom and the light and the love that they unlock. It truly is a gift and a privilege. So just so grateful to God and to each one of you for the gifts of the earth and the gifts they keep bringing. So thank you. And thank you, Tiff, for coming on and offering the mindset makeover. I hope you guys take advantage of that. I hope you don't just hit the snooze button on that one, because it's never too late to scrub your mind and to create a winning mindset. So hope you jump on that. Thank you so much for offering that, Tiff, and thanks for showing up for us today.
Love you guys. We'll see you soon.